Doom is one hell of a franchise that has managed to stay relevant and totally badass for over 3 decades across several titles and platforms. But there's one specific entry that's the focus of this video, and the one that I think is the best overall in the series. The game that I personally feel is the best in the franchise might surprise some people. It's the original 1993 Doom. It's hard to think of a game that was more influential than the original Doom. It changed the gaming landscape forever. From a technical standpoint, it stood heads and shoulders above any other first-person shooter on the market. id Software's team, including John Carmack, John Romero, and Adrian Carmack, became overnight rock stars and household names. The Doom engine allowed for a number of things that were just not possible in id Software's older title Wolfenstein 3D, such as varying surface heights, elevators, lighting effects, and more. Simply put, it blew people's minds when it came out. The game featured fast combat and was ultra-violent, sparking a national debate about violence in video games. This game was the reason why we eventually ended up with the ESRB rating system, so parents could be better informed of what kind of content was included in the game they'd potentially be buying. The game had players blasting through waves of demons and possessed soldiers with a variety of weapons, including a shotgun, plasma rifle, rocket launcher, and chainsaw. All while being surrounded by hellish imagery and listening to one of the most iconic and kick-ass soundtracks in gaming history. Doom was a trailblazer of a game in multiple ways. It allowed up to 4 players to conquer the campaign together via networked computers. If you wanted to see who was the best in your group of friends, then 4-player deathmatch was the best way to settle things. But it didn't end there. Aside from having a fantastic campaign with tons of levels and tons of secrets in those levels, co-op and deathmatch modes, the game also included a map editor, which could be used to create your own monster-filled levels or custom deathmatch maps. This provided an untold amount of content for me personally, as I built a tremendous amount of deathmatch maps to frag my friends and family in. I even made a map of my house at the time, and man, I wish I had kept all the maps I made because it would have been cool to take a trip down memory lane and show you all. It seriously bums me out, but I still have all the great memories from my youth, and nothing will change that. As I stated earlier, the original Doom changed everything. It set the bar for everything that came after it, including subsequent Doom games. Speaking of which, here are my thoughts on the other Doom games and why they're also important to discuss. Doom 2. I found it to be a great game, but it felt more like an expansion of the first game, a refinement of the formula rather than a true sequel. It did give us the infinitely enjoyable super shotgun though. Doom 64 is another game worth mentioning. It has the best single-player campaign maps in all of classic Doom in my opinion. It has fantastic graphics and an ominous, inescapable atmosphere in which you never feel safe. I love this game. The only things keeping this game from being the best Doom game ever is the fact that it lacks any sort of multiplayer, and there is no map editor of any kind. If it had any one of those things, I'd put it at number 1. Doom 3 is the game that showed the world what the ATI Radeon Pro graphics cards could do. This game had cutting-edge graphics, sharp sound design, and felt like a sci-fi horror game but still had the essence of Doom. The Xbox version even had 2-player co-op. I played through the entire campaign with a friend during the early days of online console gaming, and it was truly magical. Many people dislike Doom 3, but I find myself enjoying it for what it is. Doom 2016 had a lot of cool things going for it on paper. It was fast-paced, had glory kills, music by the legendary Mick Gordon, and even a map editor. Unfortunately, the map editor was embarrassingly oversimplified, and it didn't give players the ability to build whatever they could imagine. Doom 2016 lacked co-op, which I also found to be disappointing. Still, I find this Doom to be enjoyable overall, and it's worth playing. Doom Eternal! hate it. Worst Doom ever. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but let's just say that it's the only Doom game that felt like a chore to play, that I was only forcing myself to beat it for the sake of beating it. I could spend hours talking about some of the remarkable home ports of Doom, from the enhanced PlayStation port, or the technical marvel of the Super Nintendo port. It's not the prettiest version of Doom, but the fact that it can be played on a 16-bit console from 1991 is astounding.
Everyone's dead but me. They can't kill me. Gotta stay smart. You're not gonna win.
I could also go on and on about the endless mods and total conversions for the original Doom. There are some mind-blowing mods out there that never cease to amaze me. This is another reason why the original is still the best. It has just so many options, so many different ways to play, and it'll run on just about any computer, phone, tablet, console, or belt buckle. So for the sake of time, I'm going to wrap up this video. If it's been a while since you played some classic Doom, do yourself a favor and once again go knee-deep in the dead. I'll see you later.